Good morning, friends. Thanks for tuning in. I am in beautiful San Francisco. This is my 4th time in this amazing city, and it's the first time whilst living and legally working in the United States. How about that? I got finished my job yesterday at the beautiful Palace of Fine Arts. I have a couple of hours literally before I have to leave for the airport, so I figured it'd be a crime not to see a little bit of this amazing city. Now, I have visited 4 times before. I've already seen a lot of the best parts, and you can see that in a lot of my older videos, which I will link to. I stayed in this massive Holiday Inn, which is kind of just north of Nob Hill, where I actually had a pretty decent view. If you squint and use digital zoom, you could even see a tiny glimpse of the Golden Gate Bridge. And that's where we're gonna go today, because would you believe, after 4 visits here, I've yet to actually get up close and personal with the bridge itself. So let's go do that. I just love how uninterrupted the sight lines are in this amazing city. You can see all the way up the hills. I'm gonna try and take a bus today. Buses in the city, I'm pretty sure, run about like $3 to $4 per trip, but you can get an all-day pass like you can in most cities. And I've heard from specific locations around the city, you can even get a passport if you're from out of town, which allows you to have 1 or 3 or 7 days travel, depending on which version you pay for, and it'll even get you on the cable cars, which is a must-do in San Francisco. So I figured we'd come find, there's one near my hotel, so I figured we'd come find that. Of course, if you don't have one of those, you'd be relegated to either paying with cash, or if it's easier, which it probably would be, you can use an app that allows you to pay with Apple Pay and PayPal and credit card and stuff like that on the bus. So easier than cash, definitely, if you're from out of town. Okay, I checked on the map, and this is one of the places that sells the travel passports. Van Ness Liquor, so cross my fingers. Well, it looks like Van Ness Liquor doesn't open till 10. They know how to live, these San Franciscans. So we'll just go jump on a bus and get the app and see if we can pay that way. Ate at this place last night, the House of Prime Rib, and it was incredible. I'll put in some pictures now, but basically it's a restaurant that was opened in 1949, and they serve prime rib with better Yorkshire puddings than I can make and lashings of gravy. Delish. Would come again. Okay, we are downloading the Muni mobile app. No cash, no problem. Let's hope so. All kinds of construction work going on here on Van Ness, which might make getting a bus a little problematic. Let's see if we can find what we're supposed to do. Okay, I think I've found a bus stop where all these good people are waiting. Look at this beautiful building. It's amazing. Here we go. So it turns out that wasn't our bus. The next problem I'm finding is I've bought this Muni bus pass, but not all buses in San Francisco are from the Muni company, which is really confusing, especially for out-of-towners. So I guess now we wait and see when the Muni version of that bus that'll take us to the Golden Gate Bridge shows up. But all the ones that are coming up on Google Maps so far that go from my location to where I want to go don't seem to be those kind of buses. It's super unhelpful. Well, a little bit of bus hopping. I think we might be on our way. Super annoying that it's not all one bus company here. Damn you, Golden Gate Transit. Cheers, Bussy.
Thank you.
Well, we made it. Finally. If you know me, you know I love a good welcome center. There it is. Looking good. It's just a little bit better than the Narrows in Tacoma. Don't tell the guys I live with that I said that. Let's check out the welcome center. I'm guessing it's going to be less of a museum, more of a overpriced gift shop, but we'll take a look. Ooh. These are pretty cool. Always loved the design of the bridge. Tis as I expected, but there are some pretty cool little models in here. Ooh, look at this one. A test tower. That is impressive. Somebody's been playing with Meccano. As you can see, the Golden Gate Bridge is really perfect color of red. Well, orange, really. Check this out. This is one of the cables made up of, how many cores does it say? 27,000 cores in each cable. That's not going to break anytime soon. Look at the wrapping. Whew. That's impressive. Oh yes, I love some good facts and figures. Look, it's the further forth. This is pretty neat actually. It's kind of like an outdoor museum. Tons of stuff about the history, spinning the cables, all the forces that would be on the bridge over a certain span, resisting the twisting. That twists a little bit. Ooh, and that's not twisting. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. Alright, time for a walk. Oh, hello there. That is impressive. It's great to be able to see the lower section that we were just looking at that helps to strengthen the bridge and stop it from twisting. Really impressive. And of course, the bridge's side that faces toward the jail, as Taylor Goldsmith from Doors eloquently sang, is Alcatraz jail right over there. So enough lollygagging, let's get on it. Super fun to be going on here. I've driven across it once or twice. And now we're actually gonna get to go. Crazy to think that when this bridge was built, the Second World War hadn't even started. It was completed in 1937, just 2 short years before World War II began. It's seen some history. Here's a little tip while I'm watching this Alaska flight come in. If you're flying down to San Francisco from the north, sit on the left-hand side of the plane and you should get a great view of the bridge coming into the bay. When you're flying out of SFO, most flights, depending on where they're going of course, tend to go out over the bay itself towards Oakland sort of side, and so you probably won't see much on your outward flight. Luckily I'll be back here again in a couple of weeks, so I'm going to try again on the left hand side. As many people know, Alcatraz is not only my favorite thing to do in San Francisco, but probably one of my favorite things I've ever done in the world. And one part that always gets me when they do the tour is just how close all those incredibly dangerous prisoners were to civilization, to the mainland. They always tell us in the tour that on cool nights when the wind was blowing just right, the prisoners could hear parties, cocktail parties going on over on the mainland in like yacht clubs and stuff. Imagine being that close to freedom and not being able to realize it. Well, now we're getting up close. This is amazing. There's some other kind of building down at the foot of the bridge, and I don't know whether it's a museum or I think it might have been an old battery, something to do with like the army that used to be the base that used to be right up on the hill here, the Presidio as they now call it. I'm sure there's stuff to see down there too, but I don't know what it is. Maybe next time. All I remember is that in GTA San Andreas, I think you had a mission to infiltrate there at some point. Wow, this is something else. Whew. When you get to this point, there's really just a chest-height barrier keeping you between certain disaster, and I think that's why the bridge has had a pretty bad reputation for people jumping from it. And you see the helpline phone things everywhere, but I don't know if anyone would ever use them, sadly. Well, what a view. Some pretty hefty cables in this thing. The closer you get to this thing, you realize just how monumentally huge it is. It's beautiful. And from the girth of the columns and the look of the little ladders up the sides here, I'm willing to bet it's probably climbable inside. Man, wouldn't that be a trip? Climbing the Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah, there's the access. Incredible. Oh! There's a low flyer. Oh, this is great. What a view. Count the rivets. Pretty impressive bridge, all in all. It's crazy how much of the city you can see from up here, from Alcatraz right out to, is that the Bay Bridge? And then the Transamerica building, that pointy one. And the new big boy in town is the Salesforce Tower, which I helped build in some tiny way. I've done some work for Salesforce events, so I always like to think that I've got like at least $2 in that building. And then where I was working this week, the beautiful Palace of Fine Arts which was a World's Fair exhibition site back in, I think, 1915. Yeah, look at the sun glistening off it. And next, I'm gonna head down here to the Fisherman's Wharf type area. I think it's more like over here. And see if I can get some lunch. I tell anyone that'll listen that I grew up in the town or city with the most bridges in the world. Definitely true at one time, but I don't know if it's just semantics, you know. Newcastle upon Tyne had like 6 or 7 bridges, and Gateshead, in fact, on the other side of the river, shared that accolade. But this is a pretty awesome bridge. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a more iconic bridge in the world. Maybe the Sydney Harbour Bridge, which doesn't hold a candle to our Tyne Bridge. But yeah, this is pretty iconic. I mean, it has its own emoji, for goodness sake. I'm really glad I finally visited it. Nice to drive across it, nice to see it from afar, but especially nice to be on it. Tell you what, I hope these bolts down here are tightly fastened. Whew. Another spooky part is right in the join. If you look down here, you can see all the way down. Oh my gosh, this cable car, it's gone off the rails. Well, another hot and sweaty bus ride later. I'm back down at the bay. Gonna walk to Fisherman's Wharf and get some lunch. I've done this walk before the first time we were in San Francisco, and it's really great. You can walk all the way from the Fisherman's Wharf type area where there's tall ships and other nice Art Deco architecture, and walk all the way around the peninsula right to the Presidio and the Crissy Field type area, which is right in front of the Golden Gate Bridge. So it's a nice walk if you've got the time. From this point in Ghirardelli kind of square, this is like the far west end of the Fisherman's Wharf type area. You can get a cable car right here, but I wouldn't bother queuing for ages to get on. You can just walk a tiny little way up the route. Listen to me, I'm American already. The route, and jump on. And then in here, this is Hyde Street Pier. It's like a little maritime area with lots of interesting ships and stuff in. This is more like the Fisherman's Wharf we all know, the really touristy area. But it does have some great restaurants and even an In-N-Out. Let's go find some food. Right down this rather unassuming alley is one of my favorite seafood restaurants in San Francisco. It's called Skimmers, and they do an absolutely incredible lobster bisque. Well, now it's actually a crab bisque because they can't get the lobster anymore. I was very disappointed. And also a cioppino, which is like a big fish soup with tons of different things in, all the fish in the sea. So definitely check that out. Google suggested we try this place, Gardino's, for a delicious lobster roll. So let's give that a go. Lobster roll achieved. Look at that. Now we just have to find some place to eat it out of sight of the seagulls. And what better place than this nice little marina? A delicious lobster salad with lobster on top in a sourdough roll. What could be better? The only problem is, I think these guys are aware of me. Well, I really hoped I'd be able to end this video with a fun ride on a cable car, but due to buses not turning up and buses not taking my tickets, I think I'm gonna just have to Uber back to the hotel to be in with a chance of not missing my flight. So, thanks very much for watching this little vlog from San Francisco. You can go back to some of my other videos from San Francisco to see when I did manage to ride the cable car. And we'll be back here in a couple of weeks, so you never know, you may get to see the cable car video sometime in the near future. Keep watching. See you later.